The first reaction is a trap. It comes fast, hot, sharp, that first reaction, that punch in the gut, that urge to fire back, to prove, to defend. It feels like truth, but it's not. It's a trap. The Stoics knew the moment between stimulus and response is where all your power lives. And most people, they give it up in the first second. But not you. Not anymore. Because now you know what feels urgent is rarely important, and what feels like you might just be your wound reacting. So wait, watch, let the noise pass. And when you do move, you won't be reacting. You'll be deciding. The world wants your trigger. Don't give it. Every headline, every scroll, every comment built to pull you out of yourself, to make you bite, react, explode. That's how they win. Not with truth, but with triggers. Your anger is profitable, your outrage is content, your pain keeps them in power. So stop giving it. You don't owe the world a response. You don't have to explain. You don't have to defend. Let them talk, let them provoke, let them spiral. You hold. Still, sharp, detached, because the moment they can pull your trigger, they own you. And the Stoic doesn't get pulled. He watches, then walks away intact. Pause is a weapon. Use it. They expect you to fire back, to snap, to spill whatever's boiling inside. But what if you didn't? What if you paused for one breath, one beat, one sacred second where you chose instead of reacted? That's the moment they lose. And you win, not by dominating, but by holding. The Stoics called it mastery, not of others, of self. The pause is where power lives, where ego dies, where clarity speaks. You don't need to respond now. You don't need to rush. You don't need to join the chaos. You just need to breathe before you break. Because the one who pauses moves with precision. And precision always lands harder. Emotions are signals, not commands. You feel it rise. The heat, the pulse, the urge to do something now. That's fine. You're human. But here's the shift. Emotions are signals, not orders. They're data, not directives. Anger says something hurts. Fear says something matters. Sadness says something's missing. Listen, but don't obey. Most people react because they think every emotion is a command. The Stoic knows better. He lets it speak, then decides what's true. He doesn't run from emotion. He doesn't drown in it either. He stands, he watches, and only then he acts, not to please the feeling, but to honor the mission. So feel it all. Then do what needs to be done, with or without the feeling. Reactivity is ego. Response is strength. Ego wants the last word. Ego wants to win the argument, to be right, loud, first. But strength is slow. It doesn't need to be seen. It doesn't need to prove. It just needs to be in control. The reactive mind is insecure, always scanning, always defending, always breaking under pressure. But the responsive mind, it's built, tested, still. It waits, it filters, it strikes with intent, not impulse. The Stoic doesn't move because he's triggered. He moves because it's time. Let others swing wildly. Let others drown in urgency. You respond like someone who's already won the fight inside, because you have. The mind that watches wins. Most minds don't think. They just repeat, react, spill whatever the moment demands. But the Stoic mind watches. It doesn't jump. It doesn't beg. It doesn't flinch. It notices the emotion, the trigger, the urge to speak, defend, explode, and it sits with it. Not to suppress, but to see. Because the moment you can observe a thought without becoming it, you're free. This is the highest power, a mind that sees without serving, that hears the noise but doesn't dance to it, that knows the story but doesn't act it out. The reactive mind is a slave, the watching mind, untouchable. So don't rush to fight, just watch. Because the one who watches wins. Slow breath, sharp mind. The mind follows the breath. Fast breath, foggy mind. Short breath, short fuse. But slow the breath and everything changes. The Stoics didn't say it, but they lived it. Stillness isn't magic, it's mechanical. Inhale, deep, hold. Exhale, slow. Do it again, until the fire calms, until the chaos stalls, until you return. You don't need motivation, you need oxygen. You don't need to react, you need to reset. No one has ever made a great decision holding their breath. So breathe, like someone who refuses to be rushed, because the one who breathes slow thinks sharp. And in a world that moves too fast, that is an edge. Write to unload. Reflect to reset. You carry too much, thoughts that spiral, loops that trap, words you never said but keep hearing anyway. So write. Not for poetry, not for praise, for relief. Put it on paper, all of it. The anger, the shame, the things you wish you said, and the ones you're glad you didn't. Don't edit, don't judge, just dump, because if it stays in your head, it festers. If it hits the page, it releases. Then reflect, what's true, what's story, what's just noise? The Stoic sharpens himself not through chaos, but through clarity. And clarity comes when the storm inside has somewhere to land. So let it land, let it go, write to unload, reflect to reset. Ask, what would a Stoic do? The trigger hits, the heat rises, the story starts spinning. Pause. One question, what would a Stoic do? Not what feels good, not what proves you're right, not what shuts them down. What would a Stoic do? Would he react? Would he shout? Would he defend his ego? Or would he breathe? Observe? Move like he's already seen this moment 100 times before. This question is a compass, not to be perfect, but to be better. It breaks the loop, cuts the instinct, gives you space to choose. So ask it, in traffic, in conflict, in the quiet war inside, what would a Stoic do? Then do that. Even if it hurts, especially if it hurts. That's how you become the kind of man who doesn't need the question anymore. Reframe or remain stuck. It's not what happened, it's what you made it mean. They ignored you. You made it mean you're not worthy, you failed. You made it mean you always will. But what if you just changed the frame? Not to lie, not to fake it, but to free yourself. The Stoics did this daily. Not to feel better, but to see clearer. Nothing is good or bad until you call it that. So call it something stronger. This wasn't rejection, it was redirection. This wasn't loss, it was light. You can't control what hits you, but you can control the frame it lands in. And that frame changes everything. So choose it, on purpose, with power. Redefine the moment, or let it redefine you. Control what stays, release what doesn't. Your mind is a room. Every thought, a guest. Some bring peace, others bring fire. Most just bring noise. So ask, who let them in and why are they still here? The Stoics knew, you can't control what enters, but you control what stays. So clean it. Thought by thought, story by story. Old pain, useless memory. The voice that says you can't. Show at the door. You don't have to fight every thought, just don't feed it. Don't invite it to stay. Peace isn't found in silence, it's found in selection. So filter, refine. Be ruthless with what's allowed to live in you, because what lives inside builds what shows outside. Control what stays. Let the rest go. Practice. Fail. Practice again. You won't get it right every time. You'll snap, you'll rush, you'll say what you swore you wouldn't. Good. That's how you train. Stoicism isn't perfection, it's practice. Over and over. Failing slower, breaking softer, coming back faster. You catch yourself mid-reaction, you stop one word short. You breathe before you break. That's not failure, that's progress. This isn't about becoming a statue, it's about becoming a wall, still, worn, but stronger every time it's hit. So don't chase perfect, chase pattern. Build the muscle, build the moment, then do it again. Because one day, it won't be practice, it'll be who you are. You are what you don't react to. Anyone can scream, anyone can post, anyone can punch back, but not everyone can hold. Not everyone can pause when it burns, can breathe when it stings, can choose when it hurts. That's not weakness, that's dominance. The world trains you to react. The Stoic trains to respond. And that training, it doesn't show when life is calm. It shows when it breaks, when the pressure hits, when everything inside screams, move. But you don't, not yet. Not until it's time. Because you are not your emotions, you are not your wounds. You are what you decide to do with them. And more than anything, you are what you don't react to.